Yo, what's up? What's up? Whoa, that's hot. That's hot! Let's get the camera angle correct so you can see what I'm doing. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Maybe we'll put the mic right up to it, huh? So yeah, there's gonna be stuff like this up in here. I might I'm gonna load up OBS just in case I want to record horizontally as well. There's good old OBS. Alright, that's enough. Oh, I don't have milk today. That's a bummer. Just gonna have to drink it black. Okay, let's begin. I need some sips of this, though. Alright, so... I guess I might as well record here as well. So yesterday I was doing some stuff, like I do, and I don't know if it's worth showing. I guess it is, because I'm gonna do it. Inside of the icosahedron, we can make the dual of the octahedron. So, there's an icosahedron on the outside, and inside is a dodecahedron. I did this off camera yesterday, after I finished the stream. So, let's move this out of the way. That's an icosahedron. And so look at that thing too. That thing's cool. That's an icosahedron. Let me turn off the, what is that, face orientation thing. Okay. Actually, I like it on. So what I'm gonna do, so let's put this into edit mode. Why do I have this cursor thing? I think it's C. Ah, jeez. What is that thing about? I think I pushed a button. I forgot how to get rid of that thing. Yeah, anyway, it's gone. This is an icosahedron, isn't it? Right? So we can make little rectangles in here. And the rectangles end up having proportions related to phi. But let's see. Let's just see if I can make the rectangles. So I think, for example, we take this edge here. And we connect the, there's this opposite edge, right? We just connect them. Boom. And what I'm going to do is, I'm actually going to, hold on. Select all. I'm going to delete only the faces. Okay, so this one, I want that back. I'll turn this off. Okay, so I'm going to keep doing this process. Connecting these as a face. Just always the opposite edge. Konnichiwa. Hello. 外付けハードディスク玄関用ようこそ Welcome. So Blender. So this is Blender with an L. Blender. I think he did that on purpose, huh? So I'm gonna attach these opposite thingies. We started with an icosahedron, and we're going to make a dodecahedron. Where's the opposite one here? It's hard to see. There it is. There she is. I think I already made that one. So those are all the ones on this equator, if you will. Now we'll make these other ones. It's probably right here. I think that's right. Alright. 日本語できますよ。日本人ですか？ここ日本ですよ。見たらわかるんじゃないですか。はい。いいね。Blender 使ってます？ Okay, and so then I need to connect these ones. Let's see, that will go to this one. Is it that one? Yeah. Okay, so I think that's all of them. Am I missing a few? think it's all of them. And you notice you can kind of see these like pentagons here, right? It's a pentagon. バックスクリーンはエフェクトだと思ってました。あ、そのことないですよ。リアルですよ。So they thought that the back was like green screen effecting? Nope. There you go. Real. It's real. It's real. Yeah. So inside of here, it's hard to see here, but oh yeah. So like, okay, I'm gonna do something. Let's go to edit mode and auto merge split edges. So I'm gonna make these intersections, like where the lines are intersecting here. So, for example, there and there, and then what you do. It's sort of weird, but you press G, you grab it, you basically move it, but without moving it. So grab, click, and I believe it made it. Yeah, it made these vertices. Very weird workflow that I learned yesterday. Oh, real. So, real ですよ。Real です。It is real. Genjutsu です。Yeah. So let's see. It actually made this. It made all of these here. So I can connect these into a face, and that's part of. We're gonna keep doing this process, and then we'll create a dodecahedron inside. So this is another way, because the icosahedron and the dodecahedron are duals of each other. This is one way to create a dodecahedron from an icosahedron. I suspect we can do the same. We should be able to do the same from the dodecahedron to the icosahedron, which I was kind of trying to do yesterday, but I was confused and it wasn't working and blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, we can make these faces already. Okay, so here we don't have the intersection. So I'm going to make the... Oh, wait. Did I do it wrong? Looks weird there, no? Something weird. Is there something weird going on? Maybe it's okay. I don't know. It looks strange, right? Like there shouldn't be anything asymmetrical. So wait, I think this looks wrong. No? I'm just confused. Wait. I'm so confused. I don't know. Anyway, let's try to continue doing this, but I need this intersection. Where's this edge, though? I don't have the edge here. Something got messed up, clearly, but anyway. Hopefully we can do a good enough job here that we get the idea anyway. So, yeah, now I have these edges. Oh. That's weird. Yeah, there's some problems here today. What's going on? Why is it... Okay. Alright. Maybe the order where you pick the edges matters? I'm not sure. Oh, we don't have an edge here. What happened there? So this and this. So I think maybe this and this were not connected. There we go. Okay. And it's good, no? So let's see here. Dodecahedron. And icosahedron. I forget how to say those in Japanese. Niju mentai. Niju mentai. And Juni mentai. So, I mean, there's much easier ways to make these. So, this is sort of a mathematical exercise. So, なんか、もっと簡単な作り方あるんですけど、こう、まあ、練習みたいな感じでやってますよ。何の練習かよくわからない。これ、ブレンダーの練習か、なんか数学の練習かわからないです。So, you can make an icosahedron, the Niju mentai, by clicking here, and then you just have to change this down to subdivisions down to 1. And that's an icosahedron. That's the Niju mentai. これ、what's symmetry again? 対称性たくさんあるから面白い。ブレンダーの練習。まあ、数学に興味があって、本当数学のためにやってます。So, ブレンダーとか使ってますか？なんか、テクノロジーの仕事とかやってます？ So, yeah, you can make a dodecahedron, Niju mentai, by just going Control B, or not Control B. We need to be in edit mode and then Control B, and it will bevel. So it was like this, right? And we keep beveling or truncating until it gets to be about here. Now to make it perfect, just go a little bit over, and then in the options here, do clamp overlap. And then also, if you want to clean up the mesh, because there's more vertices. There'll be 20 vertices right now, I think, or even more maybe. You can do cleanup and merge by distance, and you'll get rid of the extra vertices. It's also interesting. You can go past the dodecahedron. Hold on, I need to turn off clamp overlap. Okay. I think I did it more than once. That's actually an interesting look. Can go past the dodecahedron. We can keep going. And we get back to the icosahedron shape. Although it has these stars. But it's basically an icosahedron. And what you're doing there is showing that the dual... So the icosahedron's dual of its dual is the icosahedron. You take the dual of the dual, you get back to where you started. Do you think Mac Mini M4 Basic 1 or PC at $600? I don't know. 使ってます？何の仕事、何のために使ってますか？ I don't know how to say dual in Japanese. Dual かな? There's probably an explanation here somewhere. There's not a lot of there's surprisingly little information. Maybe if I go say Niju mentai. There we go. Okay. Say Niju mentai and dual って書いてあるかな? Dual. It's a lot of complicated information here. Felix Klein, I want to read some of his stuff. Like this stuff. The dual, is it there? Dual って書いてあるかな? For 3D. I guess I would go with the PC, but I've never tried. I've never even thought of using a Mac Mini, so I don't know. Is your goal with 3D, is it to make cinematic stuff, or is it to make like game stuff? I just ask because those are two very different worlds. I think this is where it's talking about it. そう、正多面体の一つである正十二面体の終点周りthis is dual 関係 I think this is a dual 相対関係 maybe dual 相対関係そう正に十面体と正十二面体は相対関係してます。I want to create a 3D game, and although I was using a game development tool other than Blender, I realized that to achieve more originality, I needed to create... Oh, that's cool. That's nice. Very cool. I haven't done much character modeling. Yeah. I've been doing some Roblox stuff, just because it's really convenient for having things multiplayer with characters. You know, you can get stuff started like really fast with Roblox, so I've been enjoying that. So let's get rid of this, and so this is an icosahedron, nijumentai, and by creating these rectangles inside of it, I've sort of carved out this icosahedron. Although I think I made some mistakes maybe, but some kind of mistakes going on here. Probably. So I'm going to make the intersection here. Okay, good. Wait, what? Why is there a vertex there? Yeah, there's some problems afoot. I don't know. Getting close enough though. So I think let's see. There's a side up, a face up here, and then I'm missing this one as well. And then there'll be one on the bottom that we haven't done yet. Beautiful. No problem, I understand. So, if I take this, let's see if we can get the dodecahedron in here. No. Actually, I don't really need that face anymore. I could delete it, I guess, but... That's, this one was like that, okay. That's the bottom part of the dodecahedron. Yeah. So now I can do what? Separate, selection. Pulled it out. There you go. So that's a dodecahedron from an icosahedron. And even harder way to make dodecahedron. I made it with code yesterday. So if I press play, boom, dodecahedron. Hooray! So I think we can repeat the same process to make the icosahedron from the dodecahedron. I tried to do that yesterday, but it got a little complicated. I don't know what this is either. It's weird. And so what I want to do now, let's make a cube inside of here. There's 5 ways to make the cube. So there's a cube right here. Once you practice this, you get really used to seeing it. And let's make a face here. I don't think I made the face on top yet. That is a cube that is sort of naturally inside of a dodecahedron. Hey, Youngrin. Hello, Veteran Uhent. Hello, hello. So you can fit 5 cubes inside the dodecahedron. So, what I actually want to make, alright, I'm going to start a new file here. And I'm going to copy paste this. Okay. Let's just see what the render looks like right now. I don't really care that much, but that's beautiful. Not sure why it's not really rendering properly. Whatever. I don't really care. Wait. I mean, we could try with cycles. I'm trying to change the engine. I don't know why that's not rendering. It's weird. Render image. There it goes. Oh, there's something different between F11 and F12. Maybe F11 is for rendering the movie. So I was pressing that. So there it goes. I'm good. How are you, Veteran? Am I still doing math? I guess so. I don't often get the chance to see an icosahedron, so it looks incredibly beautiful to me. Yeah, I think it's cool too. I like it too. It's like they use it as a 20 die, like in games, like Dungeons and Dragons, when you roll 20. Yeah, special kind of dice. Same with this. Could be used as a special kind of dice with 12 sides. So, all right. I'm gonna make the cube inside of here. Again. I could just go... No. What kind of games do you like to make, Hardodisk-san? Hardodisk-san. どんなゲーム作ってます? Did I already make these faces? I'm not sure. And then I'm gonna just in case I made too many or something, let's clean up. Merge by distance. Nothing changed. Anyway, okay, here's what I want to do. I want to take this cube. First of all, let's separate it. Okay, object mode. Then I'm gonna duplicate it. Make another one like that. Duplicate. And then I want to make the dodecahedron here as well. If I go to my script, what I'll do is I'll add an offset. So I want to make this a little bigger. I'm not sure how Vec3s work with Blender. Maybe I can just do offset equals... I don't know if this is... I mean, this is just an array, I guess. So we're going 2 in the X direction. But I think it's probably easier just to make the mesh and then move it after, rather than put in the offset everywhere. So Blender Python offset. Let's do translate mesh. Offset transform. That's this is a bunch of let's see. Do we have translate in here? It's a bunch of transformations. This is very confusing, all this shenanigans. What is, I don't even know. These are a bunch of options, I guess. So I'll try to do this anyway. So it says add mesh, blah, blah, blah. Can we do something like this? Yeah, that documentation is so hard to read. Like, at least they should at least give us some examples, because it's ridiculous. So many options. Let's just Google this. Maybe get some examples. So value equals blah blah blah, orient type blah blah. God, so many options. It's crazy. Objects need to be selected. That's how that works. Ditch ops when possible. I would like to use the methods that the API provides and learn those instead of patching the matrices directly. In my opinion, it's the other way around. The operator is basically a bridge between UI and an API. For transforms, you're better off manipulating the matrices directly. Okay. I could use matrices. Well, screw all that. Let's just make another dodecahedron and just move it. I mean, that's sensible, right? The thing is that what I want to do next is going to involve more stuff. So I want to make use of the other cubes that are inside of this dodecahedron. So to find other cubes, we need these sort of like this cross-diagonal thing. So for example, we can choose this one instead. And then the cube, like this is one of the squares of the cube. Is it there? No, that's too far. Here. Okay, then make the faces. I think I made that face already. Huh. So I want to duplicate this out in this direction. I guess what I could do is extrude and then hold control, and I think that's doing it. Okay. And then what I'd like to be able to do is, for example, to make another dodecahedron here. So I'd like to be able to build this out like kind of like a toolkit or something. So let me think. There's a lot for me to learn about scripting in Blender here. It's very complicated. I'm creating a game where the goal is to escape from a labyrinth. The story involves reuniting with a companion who was separated due to an unexpected accident in the dungeon. That sounds good. That sounds cool. So I was hoping to be able to build larger structures where the dodecahedra act like joints. I'm really not sure how feasible that will be. But I need to be able to select a cube like here and then build, press play, and it makes a dodecahedron. So I needed to do all this code stuff, but here instead. Is this called a pivot point, maybe? Mesh.transform does what it says. Transform the vertices. Moving the vertices is equivalent to moving the origin by the same amount in the opposite direction. So what are they doing here? So they're reading in a bunch of vertices from a CSV file. Okay. So they're creating vertices from that data, and then they're adding a control, what they're calling a control point. Will become local origin of the point cloud. Okay. The labyrinth is shrouded in darkness, and you must light your way forward using a torch you can carry. Okay. When do you think it'll be out? What kind of, are you using an engine, or what platform? What platform will it be out on? So they create a mesh. It says add Python. Anyway, add Python data blocks to mesh. New mesh dot from data verts edges faces. So I'm guessing this just makes a new mesh with the data. Create an object. Yeah, I should be able to just... Whatever stuff they normally have, like the normal transform tools, you should be able to use it from Python, right? For all transforms, blah blah blah. Context. If has attribute data transform ov.data transform. Not okay. So this is. I believe this is multiplying a matrix times what they're calling C dot local matrix. So it sounds like context.object. Okay. I wish they would give like a more concrete example, like doing it to the default cube or something to rotate it. So it sounds like this they mean that this is a translation. So location, rotation, scale. It's very complicated looking. This looks like they're trying to do rotation with a matrix, but it looks like maybe they started with a quaternion, they changed it to a matrix. Q equals blah blah, some kind of vector. Not sure if Q is a quaternion. Rotation difference. It might output a quaternion, maybe. Looks like it. Getting a little bit in the weeds here. But yeah, I'm going to think that this is a quaternion. And then... let's see what this question is about. Problem rotating objects by script. I have a script operator which should align all selected objects somewhat. Okay, I'm just gonna Google Blender Python transform mesh. How to apply transformations to a mesh with Blender Python API. Here we go. Hello, Abyan Danish. You were here the other day, huh? Welcome back. In the labyrinth, there are goblins, elves, dragons, and more. Sometimes you engage in battles, learn magic from elves, encounter mimics disguised as treasure chests, or have orcs upgrade your weapons. That's cool. Deeper you venture, the more diverse and exciting events unfold. それいつリリースするかわかります？どんなプラットフォームでリリースする？ How to apply transformation to mesh. Something like this. Okay, so I know this is maybe hard to see. This is just whatever. So we get a matrix, and then we multiply the matrix. Not sure what this is about. So we should be able to do that to the verts. We don't need to import BPY, I've already done that. Can I just say vert equals this? What is this dot co anyway? I don't know what the dot co is. So for now, I'm gonna get rid of this and see what happens here when I press play. Nothing. None type object has no attribute matrix world. So I think I can make my own matrix. Gosh, I was doing this on my other computer before Windows destroyed my computer. The deeper you venture, the more diverse and exciting events unfold. I'm creating a game full of such experiences. Sounds nice. So I can make a rotation matrix here, like this, probably. And although I should probably check that the docs I was reading, yeah, it's Blender 4. So I don't think we need this stuff, honestly. So we have a rotation matrix, and we want to apply that to all the verts. And who knows what the heck that's supposed to do. So let's see if that works. It would be really super a miracle if it does. No. Math utils is not defined. Good stuff. Need some imports. Matrix multiplication, not supported between matrix and tuple types. Okay. Maybe that's what the .co thing was about. Huh. No attribute co, right. So my verts are tuples, and if they were vectors, they would, if they were vectors, this would make sense, but, Blender Python, how to multiply vector by matrix. So this is Blender 2.8, matrix multiplication, blah, blah, blah. Replacing the asterisk with the @ symbol, yeah, we're using the @ symbol. So this should be easy, but okay. So @ vector, can I do like, hold on? Can I do something like this and then just put vert here? Vector not defined. What? This 2.8. Blender 4 vert vector. Vector math node? No, vector. I'm gonna say Python in there. Maybe if I go Matthew Tills dot. Ooh. It did it without error. Now that was rotating by 90. Let's rotate by 30 degrees. It doesn't seem to be rotating, but yeah, it's not rotating. But at least it's not throwing an error. Vert equals rotation matrix. Let's just try putting everything to the origin. So I think we need to do something like this maybe. Okay, so I was thinking it might collapse everything down to the origin. That's not what's happening. So it seems to me that this vert is not getting replaced. So what I'm going to do so what might be happening is that, and this depends kind of on what language you're using, but when you use vert here, it makes a copy of the thing. So you can't just change it like this, possibly. So maybe what I need to do is make another vertex and then populate an array with that. So I'm gonna look up Blender Python append array. That's how to add something to an array. Although I suppose maybe just Python. It doesn't have to be Blender. Just how to append an array in Python. Append array dot append. So I'm gonna make this verts2 equals, it's an array. I call it an array. Maybe it's, I don't know what it's called in Python. I mean, I think it's called an array. And so verts2. So verts2 dot append vert2. Now it should... Unexpected indent. It doesn't like the white space here. Okay, so that's surprising to me. So it's populating this array correctly, but nothing is changing. What is this for, by the way? I don't know. So here we go. Class method rotation. Angle size. Size, the int of the rotation matrix to construct. So it's making a 4x4 matrix that should rotate the x along the x-axis by 10 radians. Wait, it is rotated. It is rotated. It's not lining up with the cube. Well, let's just do pi equals 3.14. Let's do pi over 12 or something. Why do all the rotations seem so similar? Pi over 6. I feel like it's not doing the rotation correctly. Pi over 3. Pi over 2. Yeah, it's like it's barely rotating it. I don't get it. Anyway, it is being rotated. Hooray. But why? It's obviously not rotating enough, though. And I wish I could easily print out like what the matrix is. I'm pretty sure it doesn't. Wait. I think I can go open a terminal somehow. Toggle system console. Yeah. And I can actually print stuff out to here, I think. Blender Python print to console. So let's see what happens when I just do. Let's just get some output going. So it printed out a bunch of vectors. So let's change this rotation to 0. See what the vectors look like. So these vectors look correct with 0 rotation. So, okay, let's rotate about the y-axis by 90 degrees. So it should be obvious what it would look like. Oh, you know what? I'm dumb. I've been typing in numbers that are... I was thinking in radians. But you're supposed to put degrees here. That's the point. So when I was putting in like 3, thinking 3 radians, roughly pi, it was taking 3 degrees, translating that to radians, which is pretty close to 0 radians, which doesn't rotate much. Just getting bullied in Hollow Knight. I love this game. That's a nice... Yeah, it sounds like a good game. I want to try sometime. Okay. So I think this will work correctly. Yeah. That's a 90-degree rotation along the y-axis. Cool, we got rotation working. Hooray! Actually, I'm really happy about that. Because I think I tried to do this before. It took me a bit longer to figure out what was going on. But now we got to do translation because I want to move the dodecahedron. I'm just happy to be able to play around with cubes and dodecahedra through code rather than like having to manually build things. Because it might open some doors in terms of, I don't know, procedural generation or just, yeah, it just opens a lot of doors when you can make something in code instead. So what was I going to look up here? We want to do translation now. Are these 4x4 matrices? Yeah, I think we can use them as a translation matrix as well. So probably Blender Python. I'm going to type that and then dot translation, dot translate or something. Where's the thing I was looking at? The documentation I was looking at before was actually good. Where was that? Did I close it? Where's the documentation before? Here. Okay. I didn't realize I have 2 windows. Good to know. All right. So instead of rotation, I'm just going to look for translation stuff. So we have translation for vector. What programming language does Blender use? It uses Python. Translation is right there. That's of a vector. Create a matrix representing a translation. So probably it's going to look like this. Translation. Was it translation? Yeah. Translation. And if we want to, let's move it -1 in the x direction. So we'll just do -1, 0, 0. Pop. Its error says the thing takes exactly 1 argument, and I've given them 3, so I need to probably just give it that. I'm guessing, yeah. Let's make it -2. Cool, so we have another one just translated. Excellent. Most excellent. I'm actually so happy that this is working now. So if, for example, I didn't have this dodecahedron, I had the cube there, and I wanted to make the dodecahedron programmatically, this is pretty much within reach. But if I have this extension of these cubes coming out, and I want to make the dodecahedron here, right now that's a little complicated. But maybe what I can do, if I make the translation and rotation depend on like the center of gravity of this thing, of the selection, for example. Although I think translation is one thing, but translation is one thing, but the rotation is going to be a little more complicated. But I think what I can do, isn't there something with center of gravity or something? Center of mass? Let's make a new window. Blender, cursor to center of mass. Okay, so just Shift S and then Shift S. Cursor to selected is in the middle there. Coolness. So if I can make this script work where the cursor is, that would be interesting. So let's do Blender Python cursor location. This is exciting. This is fun. I'm glad figuring this stuff out. Da-di-da-di-da. Let's just try popping that in here. Play. Scene object has no attribute cursor location. That didn't work, bro. But I think it's a version issue. Now it works. Whoa. Did it rotate it as well? Wait. I'm just gonna call this matte because it's no longer a rotation matrix. It's used for other stuff. But wait, I'm really surprised that it rotated it as well. That surprises me. Want to create various systems and characters, so it might take a lot of time to release the game. I see. Maybe if I finish it quickly, it could be ready in about a year. Okay. What platform? Donna platform? ウェブか、なんかアプリか、コンソールとか Steam でリリースする? Yeah, oh wait, did this rotate it? Maybe my perspective is just kind of confused by this oblique object here, so I think maybe, no, it's not rotated, I'm just tripping. Yeah, okay. There would be no way. It wouldn't make sense for it to be rotated, so. No, I think it's fine. coolness. Which is interesting already, because this cube will still be, because we made these cubes. Wait, I might be about to say something nonsensical. Is this cube? Hold on. This might be one of the embedded cubes in this dodecahedron. So, I mean, it looks like it. Yeah. These are coming together at the same spot here. So one of the things I want to be able to do is, since a dodecahedron has 5 cubes inside of it, sort of naturally inside of it, I want to be able to easily, and probably through code, rotate the dodecahedron sort of based on those other cubes. So like, I want the identity in here as well, so let's see here. Mat equals, how do I get the identity matrix? Blender, Python, identity matrix. The identity matrix as a transformation will do nothing. I'll just leave it unchanged. Oh, dot identity. Something like this, maybe? Identity needs an argument. What? Oh, it probably needs the number 4 to say like how big the matrix should be. Would be my guess. What happened to what I was looking at? Identity. Set the matrix to the identity matrix. I mean, another option is just like, okay. I could just do a translation of nothing. There we go. That's very interesting. Is it? What was interesting? So I find all this stuff interesting, but I think for most people, I guess if you like math and maybe if you like programming, I guess this stuff is interesting though. But I think most people watching this would probably think, why are you doing this, right? But anyway, so you can see this cube inside of this dodecahedron. There's 4 other cubes that will fit in here. I mean, the way that, if you started with the dodecahedron and you want to get to a cube, you'll notice that, like this edge, for example, if I can select it, this edge, it's a cross diagonal, I think is the word, of this pentagon. It's not one of the edges of the dodecahedron, it's a cross diagonal. So the way you get the other cubes is you just make other cross diagonals. So, for example, this is a cross diagonal. Or I think the word is just diagonal of the, yeah. Here's a diagonal. So it forms this, yeah, this pentagram, this 5-pointed star. And so you can pick, so whichever one you pick will create one of the 5 cubes that sit inside the dodecahedron. So if we pick this one, then you have to kind of use your imagination to figure out what the cube will look like. But all of the edges of the cube will be these diagonals. So I think, is it this one? No. No. Wait, I'm getting confused. Well, anyway, we can make it with this one. Okay, I'm starting to see another cube. Do you see, like... You see this square? So that's... We can build a cube from here. So there's 5 ways you can do this. The weird thing is that, for me personally, I became interested in these symmetries and how they're related to each other, and so I started studying it. And I don't know if I probably felt or kind of knew that somehow there should be this deep connection between cube and dodecahedron, but I had never seen anyone point it out. Like, if you just look at the Wikipedia page as an example, I'm not sure, it might say it. Is there anything about a cube in here? Abstractions sharing the solid's topology and symmetry can be created from the cube and the tetrahedron. In the cube, each face is by... I mean, this is not really saying it. So you can see, like... Are we at the end here? Yeah. This is the Wikipedia article page on the dodecahedron, and it doesn't explicitly point out the fact that there are 5 cubes sort of naturally embedded inside a dodecahedron. So, at some point, I saw this in a YouTube video. There's at least a couple YouTube videos that talk about this, and my mind was a little blown. I had not spent, hundreds of hours or something looking into this, or anything, but it was important to me. And so, when I randomly saw that in a YouTube video, my mind was a bit blown, because I'm like, well, there it is. I mean, obvious. Okay, there's the sought after connection of the cube and the dodecahedron. It's right there. So, I mean, if you're talking about games, building a world with a grid of cubes or a lattice or whatever you want to call it is like an obvious thing, right? And so just the fact that you have this other kind of complicated shape, the dodecahedron, that can naturally be connected with your grid of cubes, already I think has some interesting possibilities that you can do. Because if you build a game world with, like Minecraft, has cubes all over the place, voxels. Well, you could take any of those cubes as a starting point and start building this dodecahedral stuff out of it, So, and I'm just spitballing ideas here, but off the cuff here, but like, it could be interesting. I mean, I think people sometimes think about how to take something like Minecraft and like twist it or make something new and interesting. One idea, maybe you could have these kind of like crystals that develop with a dodecahedral structure building off of the cubes. Just spitballing ideas here. But so we have these 5 natural cubes embedded within. And what I'd like to be able to do is take this rotation. You see this cube here, I think you can kind of see. If I just highlight some of the vertices, well, there's this cube here, And that cube compared to the other more obvious cube, they have a rotation between them, getting from one to the other. So here's one cube, and then there's the obvious cube, which, I mean, it's right there. It's on the same grid as these other ones. So to get from one to the other, there's some rotation, right? Now, one question you might ask is, what is the axis of rotation of these different cubes? And the answer, if I believe, I believe you can use any of these faces. So hold on. I learned how to do something yesterday. Pick. There's a way to put a vertex in the center of all the faces. Poke, not pick. Poke. Poke faces. I'll probably have to be in edit mode. So I'm just selecting. Yeah, everything's selected, I believe. Poke faces. Oh, whoops. Is that what I want to do? Have you ever used geometry nodes? A little bit. I'm no expert. Only just like an hour or two. I know they're really interesting and cool. Poke faces. Is this doing what I want? Probably. I think that's what I want, yeah. So I believe that any of these axes... So let me extrude along normal. So where's extrude along normal? That's another thing that... extrude along normals. Is this doing what I want? Not quite. Maybe. Yeah, maybe it is. It looks a little off. Not sure if I did that right. But that's the idea. Like, just a axis going straight out. I think all of these are viable axes for doing this cube rotation I was talking about. I think. But, you know, having thought about this in the past and coming back to it now, I'm like having some doubt and not really knowing if that explanation makes sense. But it's also weird if that's true, because that means you have 12 axes that can all be used to rotate this cube. It's a little strange and interesting. Unreal Engine uses geometry nodes and Unity scripting, but programming in Unreal is still harder. Yeah, Unreal is C++. Unity, I think, is just C# now, right? Is it really geometry nodes? Or I feel like Unreal Engine uses kind of this node system for like almost everything, from a programming standpoint, maybe. Not everything, but like every time I see somebody showing how to program something in Unreal, it's like they've got all these nodes everywhere. Seems like what they're doing. But yeah, I don't know too much about it. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I did some Unity stuff before. Maybe, I don't know, a few 100 hours or something. Yeah, so I'd like to find out how to rotate these cube thingies, but I don't really know the answer. One thing, let me think. Somebody, hold on. There was some code we saw that gets a quaternion from a rotation. This. rotation difference. So I could just do the rotation more or less manually and then try to get the quaternion from the rotation and then guess. But I think it's just a 1/5 of a full turn rotation along any of these axes that go through the face. I think that's how that works. I think I studied this before, and that's the conclusion I came up with. So let me make the cube inside of here. I don't like this thing here. So we're making a cube. I don't know, but I think Unreal only uses geometry. No, that for game development you need a lot more than just for geometry. You have to be able to just do all kinds of code, just in general. We could have just made a cube here. Whatever. I'm already invested in this process. So we got a cube in there. It's probably good enough. And then yeah, there's a cube in there. So if I choose an axis, so one problem is it's hard to figure out exactly what the axis is, like through one of these faces. Right through the middle there. We do an axis, and then we rotate by 1/5 of a full turn. My claim is that I think that will create one of the other cubes that are naturally embedded inside of the dodecahedron, and that it doesn't matter which face you choose. Geometry for code? I don't know what you mean. This is too general. You mean like you have to use these? Do you mean like you have to use these kinds of nodes? So that's called, yeah, blueprints visual scripting is what that's called. And I would imagine that you're not forced to do that, because that would be kind of insane if you were forced to. So there's, yeah, blueprints only, C++ only, C++ and blueprints. You can mix all this stuff together. Yeah, so I don't know how to... What I want to do... The thing that I said was my claim a minute ago. I would like to demonstrate it. Not just for demonstration, but also to prove kind of to myself that that's correct. It's sort of a hypothesis at this point. You can both use nodes and scripting, but no one uses scripting. So I'm not sure what you mean. When you say scripting, what do you mean? You mean C++, just like coding? You're saying, if your claim is that nobody uses the C++ only, I guarantee you that's wrong. There's tons of programmers who don't want to bother with the blueprint stuff. You might have that impression if you've seen a bunch of tutorials and the tutorials, focus on blueprints. But I guarantee you, a lot of people are using both of these. Because there's people who aren't very comfortable coding C++ who want to use blueprints. There's also, C++ programmers who have no interest in blueprints whatsoever. For me, like if something were nicely encapsulated in an object, like for example in Roblox, sometimes you're writing some script that has to do just with like one particular object, and that's it. And it's nicely encapsulated. If I could do that quickly with this blueprint approach, I'd be fine with that. But if you're writing some big script that has to do with like a lot of objects in the game, like for example, managing how NPCs respawn, for example, that has consequences like throughout the game. That I would not want to do any blueprint nonsense. I just do ordinary coding. I've seen a lot of game developers using Unreal and YouTube, and none of them were using coding. Okay, well, those are probably... I mean, there's a difference between what you see on YouTube and like hardcore professionals. Because a professional where that's their day job, the vast majority of them are not streaming live, right? And yeah, so when you look at what's on YouTube, you're getting a very different sort of impression of things, which is, I mean, it's good and bad, because it's sort of like most people are not going to do this stuff on YouTube, because it's not, most people don't want to watch somebody write this stuff. But yeah, that's just the way it is. Like yeah. So this task is a bit complicated. First of all, getting an axis. But I think I can kind of make some calculations by hand here. I'm gonna load up a program. To figure out the axes, we're just gonna calculate it, old-fashioned, like we're in math class. That's difficult. I agree that professionals use coding more. Okay. You mean not a lot of people? Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Wait, how do I zoom in this application? Oh, okay. the normal way. I just got used to the Blender way. Zoom. But it's changing the zoom, but it's not really changing anything. 100%. How about that? Okay, whatever. Brush. This color. What's going on here? Something wrong. Oh, I was trying to paint somewhere. Yeah, I had the controls messed up in my head because of using Blender here. There we go. Fill gray. Why? Okay, finally. This is Krita, Krita. So I'm just going to use this as like scratch work. So the dodecahedron gets built with these kinds of things up here where, for example, this point, let's see, if this is the x direction, z direction, so x direction here will be 1 over phi. We'll just say the y is 0, and the z direction here is going to be phi. That's the way I'm building these dodecahedra. And then, for example, here, this would come down like this, and this would be a... These are how the faces are going to work. Something like that. So what I want to do is I want to get the center of this point here. So I can take the average of these 5 points. Ouch. So I'm going to write out the 5 points that I need to take an average of. So we already have the first one. I'm just going to write phi -1. It's easier to write. 0 phi. Over here, this is going to have just the x values flipped. So it's going to be negative inverse phi, 0 phi. So we got 2 of them. No, it's actually free. It's not Adobe. Krita, Krita. So we've got 2 of the points. Let's do this point right here. So that's coming towards us. So the x value is 0. The z value is going to be 1 over phi, inverse phi. And the y, excuse me, the y value is going to be phi. And now we need these 2 points, which are part of the cube, actually. So those are easy. So in this example, that's +1. I'm doing the rightmost one. It's coming towards us, which I guess the y value would be 1. Not sure if I used... I messed up. I'm using a left-handed coordinate system here, but... Whatever. 1, 1... One, is that right? And the other one is just the x values reversed. So if we take the average of these 5 points, we'll get the point in the middle of the pentagon. Oh, goodness. So the x value, so when you add up these, they cancel out. So it's going to be, and when you add these, it's going to cancel out as well. So the x value is 0, huh? That makes sense. It's in the middle. Okay, so let's not even bother writing the x value. It's just 0. So what is the y value? It's going to be 2 plus phi over 5. Taking the average of 5 things, so we just divide by 5. So what's the z value? Well, we're going to have 2 phi plus inverse phi plus 2 divided by 5. Okay. And then, so as a vector, this is going to, our axis goes from 0, 0, 0 as the tail to the point 0, 2 plus phi over 5, 2 phi plus inverse phi plus 2 over 5. That's a vector that represents the axis of rotation. Wish I had milk. I'm out of milk. It's a disaster. Wait, I have a little more. Hooray! Milk. Okay. What a pain. What a pain. Anyway. Luckily, we have a computer, and I hear computers are good at math. So, funny. I made a funny joke. All right. Let's write this stuff. That's phi, not a 4. We want a vec3. I'm getting the sense that a vec3 is just equivalent to this array. So I'll just write it as an array. So, all right, axis is equal to so 0 and then something and then something. This is going to be 2 plus phi divided by 5. Two plus phi over 5, yep. This one's going to be 2 times phi plus inverse phi plus 2 divided by 5. I mean, there's a lot of enjoyable stuff about Blender, but doing this is a pain. This is kind of hard work, basically. But I want to do this. As a goal, I want to be able to do this. So let's see here. So can I use this as an axis here? Also, it'd be nice to be able to just select something and apply certain of these matrix transformations in a script, but we're not there yet. Let's get rid of some of the clutter that's here. And then, let's see. Well, what are we doing right now? Right now, we're just making a dodecahedron. No rotation or anything. Then if I switch this on, it will rotate it by 90 degrees. It doesn't like something line 60. What does it not like? Because I'm calling it the wrong thing there. We don't need this. This is garbage. Okay, this is rotated compared to what we had before. Let's just verify that. Yeah, it looks different. It's rotated. Yeah, this is a bit of a grind, honestly. It's hard work, but no pain, no gain. It's not. There's worse things to do in the world. I mean, obviously I'm not making money doing this, but I'm a nerd. I'm just doing what a nerd does. I'm doing nerd things. So we'll try to use this axis. Let's see if that's gonna work. Wow. And my claim was that by rotating by not 90 degrees, but a fifth of a full turn. So screw this. I'm gonna just do, so a fifth of a full turn is 2 pi over 5. So 2 times pi divided by 5. Interestingly, the vertices line up perfectly, right? Coolness. So the claim, to check this claim, it's not a complete check, but if I find there should, these two dodecahedra should be sharing a cube. Or maybe even sharing all their cubes. So let's just make some cubes in here and check if that makes sense. Now already I can see this cube is not going to be shared with the other one. So not all the cubes are shared. Or my hypothesis is incorrect. Well, actually, wait. There's supposed to be a vertex there? Wait. Oh, never mind. Okay, never mind. Do you mean nerds like suffering for no reason? No, I mean, I don't think so, no. But, yeah, I mean, if you're doing programming, sometimes you have to roll up your sleeves and do shit you don't want to, you know, like, it's not necessarily you want to do it or you don't want to do it. It's that it's hard work sometimes. It's just the way it is. Anything you want to accomplish, you got to roll up the sleeves and get it done sometimes, right? That's what we're doing here today. So we have this cube, obviously does not correspond with the other one. The cube that would be formed by this stuff. It obviously doesn't correspond because this is sticking out compared to the other dodecahedron. But do they have some shared cube? That's my question. I mean, a good hint is that the vertices clearly overlap somewhere. But see, this is sticking out. I'm really not sure about this. My hypothesis may be wrong. Wait, so if any of these edges, so all of the edges of these cubes are diagonals in the pentagons of these dodecahedra. So if any of these, if any edge, if I can show that any edge works for both of these dodecahedra, then well, that's a starting point. Anyway, so for example, this edge right here, clearly it's one of the dodecahedra, but is it diagonal on both of them? That's confusing to look at, admittedly. So there, clearly the edge I highlighted before, right here, it's in that dodecahedra. What about the other dodecahedron? And it's in the other one as well. Yeah. So we'll try to make two different cubes. Is it going to be the same cube? So we've already made this cube, basically. We didn't finish, actually. Yeah. So there's one cube. And these things nearby are kind of annoying me, but and I forget which edge I was even talking about. Maybe it might have been this edge. Hold on. Okay. Might have been this edge. So you can see the cube and the edge. And the dodecahedron. Let's switch dodecahedra. Did I switch? I think I switched. So I can see the cube now. Question is it the same cube as the other one, or is it different? Ugh. No, stop. Stuff is... Oh, because I'm probably clicking on something from the other... Yeah, I can't click on this edge because it's for the other dodecahedron. Wait, so how's this going to form a cube? It's very confusing to look at. No, I think it's the same. It's the same cube. Yeah, it's the same cube. So what's happening is there's already it looks like there's an edge here, but that's in the other object. That's in the other dodecahedron. That's why I can't click on it. And when I make this, so what I'm seeing here is that these two dodecahedra share a cube. That's what I'm seeing. So I haven't mathematically proven anything, but I think it goes in the direction of confirming my hypothesis, I think. Do you have a plan on streaming anything else this week? What happens is my priority switches, right? So like when the Diablo 4 stuff was doing well, I was kind of focused on continuing with that, growing the channel. When I stream Blender like this, I'm not thinking this is a great way to grow my channel. Let me see if we got any subs today. Oh, we got 2 subs probably from this stream, so that's cool. Thank you. And I don't know how many views we got here, but yeah. So I'm not thinking, hey, you know what would be great for my channel is streaming Blender, but it's more like I want to do this stuff in Blender, and then should I stream it or not? And sometimes I do this stuff. A lot of times I do this stuff and I don't stream it. So for the rest of the week, all I know is that right now, my priority, to be honest, is not on growing the channel. I'm just doing some other stuff, I guess. That I could definitely see that continuing for another few days. I'm sure at some point in the next month, I'm sure there'll be a few times when I start focusing on growing my channel, and at that point, who knows what I'll do. I'm sure I'll be doing more chess in the coming month. I mean, chess was doing well. It's not... Yeah, it does well. I think chess is nice because a lot of the people who come in from chess are more active viewers, like your brother, for example, like commenting and... Yeah. Like, with Diablo 4, I did get a bunch of subs, but I think probably all the people I got from Diablo 4, like, they're not really commenting. It's just sort of random. You know, they clicked on the subscribe button, so... yeah, so that's a nice thing about chess is, like, you get more sort of active subscribers. Some of them want to play me in chess, and that can be fun. Etc., etc. So I guess the short answer is I really have no idea what I'm going to be doing. There's no plan. There's still a lot of things I want to tease out and learn about these platonic solids. Yeah. In fact, okay. This is enough of all this right now. I'm going to move everything to the side. Okay. So another thing I want to do with the platonic solid, the dodecahedron, is so we can put cubes in here like I showed, but each cube has a bunch of tetrahedra that you can put in there. So I'm curious how many tetrahedra will fit in there. I'm just guessing the answer is probably like 60 or maybe even more. Well, let's see. There's 5 cubes. And each one of them should have 8 tetrahedra, so 40. I think there's 40 tetrahedra that will fit in, naturally sort of fit in here. And that's going to be a mess, but I kind of want to try to make it. I think the first stream where Krosh was watching was chess. I think so, probably. I'm not 100% sure. But I think he was interested in chess in the beginning. And he also watched we had some good streams when I was doing language learning as well. That's something I haven't done in a while, but I'll probably try again sometime. Yeah. Okay, so back to the good old cube making thing. Although, let's see. I can just make a separate cube here. That, you know, fits in there. All right, so an interesting thing, I just thought of something. We can test this rotation thing on the cube and then figure some stuff out. So let's call this make dodecahedron. Text new. Okay, so I'm going to go back to, instead of making a dodecahedron here, we're going to make a cube. So we only need the 8 vertices. We're not going to need phi. I never used this offset either. Let's take that out from both scripts. Never used the offset. Do I have to push save? I'm not sure. Mine was that Diablo stream where I buried myself on. Oh, okay. Those were, I think it was like the first 2 Diablo streams I did that. Those didn't do that well. Then, let me think. But I think in the one of the streams where it started doing well, I think it was just that I had filled in the title and the description better, and I think that put the audience in the right direction, I guess. YouTube started sending me towards the right audience, I guess. Well, I also I think I put that please subscribe, please sub thing at the top. I think that helped a lot. That was when Diablo streams kind of went whew for a bit. But then also, so another possible factor is this Path of Exile game. Like, a lot of excitement was being drummed up about that prior to the early access release. I didn't even know about that when I started streaming Diablo. But that could be a reason why those Diablo streams did well, because like that was that topic was becoming popular, like sort of trending, action RPGs, and it didn't coincide with a bunch of people suddenly streaming Diablo. Once the game came out on a Friday, then like an enormous number of people definitely started streaming it, and so that's probably why the streams started doing very badly after that. That's my guess. But you know, there's so many factors. You have the best chess titles if we ignore Gotham Chess. Do I? A chess? Yeah. Okay, so we have a cube. Let's simplify things. Go back to just making a cube. Unfortunately, okay, I think this was just a cube. So let's try here. Let's go back to just verts, and let's see if this is going to make a cube for us. Yay! No bugs, no problem. Made a cube. Beautiful. Now we're going to rotate it. So I'm going to switch the verts 2, and let's just check that that's working. Yes, it's still working. But instead of translation, we're going to rotate. Do our amazing rotation. Okay, so that did not coincide. But see, the calculations that I made for this axis might not correspond to exactly this dodecahedron. So for example, if I rotate this dodecahedron by some amount, like 90 degrees along the z-axis, hold on. So going back to just using Blender the normal way. 90. Now this matches, right? Yeah. And also, a normal cube also fits this dodecahedron. Okay. So there's 3 more cubes I need to find that will fit in this dodecahedron. And the question is, can I make them through this rotation stuff? So, instead of 2 times this, we'll double this angle of rotation. So that one looks like it fits as well. So 1, 2, and 6 times pi over 5. And I think 8 times pi over 5. Yeah, I'm seeing pentagrams all over the place. So we just quickly programmatically made the 5 cubes that embed in a dodecahedron. That's fucking exciting to me. This is super nerd stuff, but I'm really happy and excited that that worked the way it's supposed to. I just made the 5 cubes that fit in this dodecahedron. Programmatically. That's beautiful. Whew. That's actually really nice. Okay, so we'll save that. I forget why I was doing this. Ah, yes. Now we want to look at all of the tetrahedra. So each of those cubes have 8 tetrahedra that naturally fit inside of them. Good lord. All right, let's go back a bit, and what I want to do is programmatically make the tetrahedra that are embedded in this cube. Going to sleep now. Good night. Thank you. Arigatou gozaimasu. Thank you. So there's going to be 8 tetrahedra that fit in this cube. So let's go back to the drawing board here. So a way of thinking of a cube. I'm so bad at drawing straight lines on this thing. Okay, we'll go like this. Make a cube. And this is not me just like lecturing or something. I'm actually trying to figure this stuff out. So, so when we move around on a cube, so this is let's say this is 0, 0, 0 over here. And in the opposite corner is going to be 1, 1, 1. So a cube is like having 3 bits, and when you move around from vertex to vertex, you're flipping 1 bit at a time. So for example, you start at the corner 0, 0, 0, and let's say you go up in the Z direction. That's like flipping the Z bit. So now we're at 0, 0, 1. And let's say then you go over here in the X direction. That's flipping this one. So every movement along the edges of the cube, like from one vertex to the other, is like flipping a bit in this 3-bit, sort of 3-dimensional space. And so how do we create tetrahedra from here? Well, if we have 0, 0, 0, the other ones, it's not going to be the adjacent ones. So I believe it's going to be, for example, 1, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, and 0, 1, 1. Yeah. These points together form a tetrahedron. So how do we... Oh, God, that's going to be... it's going to be a little painful. What do I do? So I'm gonna do it manually first, and then we'll figure out how to code it in a more sort of automated manner. All right. So I'm gonna make a verts 3. So let's do let's just call it tetraverts. That sounds cool. Tetraverts. Are you introvert, extrovert? No, I'm a tetravert. I'm gonna make this stupid comment. Vertices for tetrahedra. Tetrahedron. Okay, so tetraverts, we'll make that. And then, so yeah, we'll just kind of code it manually to start. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do tetraverts. Is there? Yeah, there's autocomplete here. Tetraverts.append, and I'm gonna take verts. We're gonna have 0, 0, 0. So I was doing like 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, but here we have like negative values. So in the discussion prior, where I said 0, replace that with -1 here. So 0, 0, 0, we're going to have -1, -1, -1. So it's going to be number 7 here. So I believe we can do this. And then we'll add the other vertices. All right. So each of them had 2 positive ones and 1 minus 1. So that's interesting. There's something going on here combinatorically that's interesting. Okay, so this is the first one. 2 positive ones. Okay, number 4 is also like that. And I missed number 1. 1, 3, 4. Let's do it in this order. 1, 3, 4. Order is not going to matter too much here, but okay. So unless I made a mistake here, we have the vertices we need. Then let's actually, okay, whatever. Verts, we'll do tetraverts, and the faces are going to be different. So tetrafaces. I'd love to see what English language developers were thinking of that made them choose these BS names for shapes. Oh, I mean, these names for shapes go way back to the ancient Greeks, you know. That's why they're called platonic solids after Plato. Yeah, they have, it's from Greek. But I think it's just, like, tetra means 4. So it's probably, in Greek, the meaning is probably just 4 faces. And this is 12 faces, and so on. Icosahedrons, 20 faces. That's what the names are in Japanese as well. So these tetrafaces, so I believe it's going to be all the possible combinations. Where you take, it's basically 4 choose 3. So what's that going to look like? Well, 0, 1, 2. It's going to be like excluding. Hold on. It's going to be like excluding 1 at a time. So we're going to have 4 faces. So 1. Screw the spaces. I don't care. So we have 0, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 0. Wait. So here we're excluding 3, here we're excluding 0, here we're excluding 1, then we need to exclude 2. So 0, 1, 3. This might work. Yeah, I think that worked. This always looks weird to me when it's like this. Like, I look at that and I'm like, is that really a tetrahedron? I think it is, though. I think it is. When you look at it through this way, it kind of makes sense. And I guess every single edge is a diagonal of the squares. So that should be a tetrahedron. Okay, but I wonder why English inventors chose Greek names. Let me think. Well, I mean, back, let's say like in the time of Newton, you know, Newton wrote in Latin. And so if you go back to also like Euler, I think, they were writing in Latin. And my guess would be that in Latin they chose the same names. So yeah, just carried over, I think. So that's one of them. We should be able to make 8 of them. So how are we going to do that? That's painful. Painful. Well, we've chosen these 4 like this. So basically this choice, we choose any of the corners, and then after that, it automatically determines the others. But this choice then, it's 2 bit flips. It should be 2 bit flips to get to any of them, right? 2 bit flips here. 2 bit flips here. And then this and this. I made that look weird, but whatever. So everything is 2 bit flips away. Everything is 2 bit flips away. How are we going to do that? How do we generate that with an algorithm? Well, we'll have some kind of function given some kind of input. We flip 2 bits in all the possible ways, and there's going to be 3 ways to flip 2 bits. So for example, input. All right, so let's make a bit flipping function. So in this context, all we're doing is flipping the sign. That's our bit flip function. So I don't need to make a function. It's just multiplied times -1. That's bit flipping here. Gosh. Bit flipping is multiplying times -1. So our input is a vec3. It's going to look something like this. And then we're going to output 3 vectors. All right. So I don't have a lot of experience making functions in Python. So I think it looks like this. Let's see if that creates an error. Syntax error. Yeah, I believe I need a colon. Expected colon. No, it worked. Okay. No error here. Okay, that's proper syntax. But we're going to take a vec3. This is a confusing thing about Python. There's no, like, that you don't have explicit typing. So we'll just call it a vec3. And then can I do, so for example, if we want to return the y value, we'll just do like that should return a y value. Okay, no error yet. Have you ever used Python? I have. I've used it like on and off many times. But it's like I never go more than a week of doing Python stuff. So I just it's been like a few times a year I'll do Python for a few days, that kind of thing. So I forget some of the details. And actually, I dabble. I do many different languages, so I'm always forgetting the syntax of different languages. But it doesn't really matter because you quickly Google it or quickly figure it out. Like in JavaScript, you have... So like a nice thing about C is that strings... I mean, strings and arrays in C are more or less the same. I think there's some subtle differences. But basically, yeah. You treat strings like arrays in C, which is nice because but then like in JavaScript, strings and arrays are treated quite differently. The exception is if you have a string literal in C, that's different because that's immutable. So I guess JavaScript, all strings are supposed to be immutable, and then anyway, strings and arrays have completely different methods in JavaScript. So I find myself always having to look up like how to do things in JavaScript. But I mean, the general ideas are always the same. Can you answer what I asked in the continue? The continue. What are you talking about? Have you ever used Python before starting Blender? What do you mean, what you asked in the continue? What did you ask? So, we're dealing with a vec3 here. Okay, cool. And we need to return... Okay, so... We're going to make an array, which is our return. The comment that you read right now. Not sure what you mean. Maybe just ask the question again. That's our return array. We're going to populate it with... Okay, so ret.append... Okay, so it's going to look like this kind of stuff. 0... And we're going to have 3 of these. Let's also append the original one. So here's our original vector. And then we're just going to flip bits on 2 of these at a time. Okay. And then we return ret. So this should give us all of the vertices of a tetrahedron. I mean, when you started Blender, did you... Okay, so when I started Blender was like maybe 10 years ago, and I didn't have any Python then. I started learning Python, I don't know, gosh... 8 years ago, so a couple of years after that. And I don't think I started doing anything programmatically. Yeah, I just don't remember about when I started doing things programmatically with Blender. So this might work correctly. So if, for example, we'll try to set tetrafaces equal to, and I call this foo, let's say like, we'll just call it make tetrahedron vertices. Well, verbose, but describes what it does. And I'll just manually type this in, -1, -1, -1. So if the miracle is true, we'll get a tetrahedron from this. Yeah, I was kind of expecting something to be wrong. Vec is not defined. Did you mean vec 3? Yes, I did. Let's just call it vec here, it's easier. Okay. Append takes one argument, right? Okay, I need. Can I do a multi-cursor? That would be nice. Multi-cursor, no. Okay, whatever. Needs to be like this. Well, we got something, but it's not what we wanted. At least it didn't crash. Okay, you gotta go. Okay, see ya. Thanks for hanging out. So I can print out these vertices here. Let's print that out. Okay, I'm making a mistake. I know what I'm doing. I know what the mistake is. So what I'm creating is the vertices, not the faces. I mean, I guess the order actually doesn't matter, but it's just more logical to create vertices first. So this might actually work. Yeah. It is working. Okay, that's working. Then we want to get the others. So let's do Python loop. Forget the syntax here. So I don't want 4x in. I want serial, something like this. Okay. So we're gonna have 8 of them. So this outputs 0 through 7 basically. I like calling this I more. So we need to do this for each of these verts. So just verts. I. Yeah, I think that's all of them. Oh, wait. Isn't it just 2? It's just 2 tetrahedra. I'm tripping. Maybe. Yeah. Cool. It's 2 tetrahedra, not. It's a cool shape. Star thing. And the convex hull here is also tetrahedron. Yeah, so we don't need 8 of them. But this is kind of cool, though. Which means that when we do what I wanted to do with the dodecahedron, we're going to have 10 tetrahedra inside. Okay. There's going to be 10. That's much more manageable. So let's go back to the other script. I'm pretty sure this is unnecessary line here. Okay. So I just need to make 10 tetrahedra in here. Also, this is now make tetrahedra, and I want to recover what I had before, which was making rotated cubes. So we'll call this make cubes, and let's see if we can go back to what we were doing before here. So we'll cut that out. Verts 2. I think. So we had some kind of matrix. Oh, okay, I was doing it manually. I didn't have all 5 of them. So for I in range blah. Okay, for I in range whatever. For I in range thing. So we have a rotation matrix, and this is 2 times I. This might work as is. How do I get rid of this? Go away, find replace. Okay. I don't know, this might work. It made 1. Oh, because this is not. Wait. So obviously if I comment this out, nothing will get created. Just a little sanity check here. It did create 5 cubes, but none of them are rotated correctly. So let's just do 2 times pi here. matrix times the vertices for vert and verts. We don't need to print the verts to append. So what we need to do is verts to, we need to sort of initialize this empty. Yeah, there we go. And so now if I make this 2 times I, cool, but it's sticking out of the dodecahedron because it's designed for a dodecahedron that is rotated along the z-axis by 90 degrees. So now, yeah, these are the 5 cubes that belong inside this dodecahedron. So that's a nice little make cubes script. Coolness. So what I want is, for each of these 5 cubes, there are 2 dodecahedra. Oh, goodness gracious. So I'm going to make tetrahedra. The other file is I'll call it make 10 tetrahedra. And I'll call the other one make 8. Even though it should only make 2, but right now it's making 8 of them. Make 8 tetrahedra. Okay, so we've got it making all these cubes. And so for each cube, we want to make 2 tetrahedra. Let's start by making it just for 1 cube. But inside of this loop. Okay. Let me just check something. Right here. Okay. So let's look at this one. I think the laptop's frozen here. So roughly speaking, what is this doing? We got this function to make vertices. And make some here. I'm just gonna kind of copy this as this is sort of a rough draft of the process, basically. So here, want to kind of be mirroring this. Oh, you again. You, complainer of the game, are back again. Goodness gracious. What a pain. The complainer is back. Everyone likes complainers. So we're gonna make some verts. Yes, we are. And it is going to, but as input we need something. We need to do this after the cube is made. So the cube verts are made already, and it'll be verts 2. I'm going to start by making 8 of these tetrahedra for each. I only need 2, but we'll start by making 8. So it's 4, we'll call it J in range 8. And this is going to be J instead. One second here. Okay. Lost my train of thought, so we'll go back into this. So verts to J. This is the outline. So it's doing that. Faces don't need to change ever. And we have this add mesh. Tetra verts, tetra faces. Let's see, there's probably a mistake introduced here. Let's see what happens when I hit play. We get a bunch of stuff. I don't know what this is about. Let's change it just to making 2 tetrahedra, because it's an awful lot here. And also, let's make just 1 of these things. Okay, so that worked there. Now for 2 cubes. Okay, so it messed up on the second cube for some reason. Verts 2 is getting reset. Let's just make 1 tetrahedron per thing. And let's print out verts 2 here, so we get some information. Okay, I might have other print statements somewhere. Gosh, it'd be nice to be able to clear this terminal. Oh, it doesn't like this? Is it going to crash? I think it maybe doesn't like me trying to print a string here. Maybe it's gonna crash here. Maybe not so good. Yeah, I'd like to fix this. I kind of want to take a break, but I don't want to stop right here. And God, it crashed. That's horrible. Okay. So we're back to this point. Good thing I keep saving, because goodness gracious. Goodness gracious. But it's a little bit behind where I was. Do we have autosave thing? That's further along. That's good. So I'm gonna look for, yeah, system console. Okay, so it's cleaner now, which is nice. And so let's print verts 2 here. Huh, it's a lot of stuff. I want to see if there's any other print messages. Hold on. So you have to go to the top. It's kind of dumb. So there's no other print message. So this is verts 2, huh? What is going on with that? There's something weird about that. Or maybe not. I don't know. I don't know. It seems a little weird. So I'm going to guess the data is starting here for the print. So, and also I think this one is okay. Is it going to crash again? Oh my God. So it's not, so it's just a Blender crash? Blender does crash sometimes. What? Yeah, it's kind of crashy, if I'm being honest. I don't think I did anything wrong here. J in range 1. I mean, J isn't being used in this loop, but it's totally irrelevant. Yeah, it's crashing on me. Alright, I'm gonna stop. I might be back later. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to finish that a little bit. Peace. Bye-bye.